Hey, it's Jang here from UltimateRC.com and RCmania.com, the place for toy-grade RC reviews. And this monster is the Fastlane RC Snakebite. This has been sold over the past couple of years as the Wildfire with just a different color scheme and a different body. Now they've got the officially licensed Monster Jam Snakebite body on it. Pretty impressive machine. It's got independent suspension at all four corners, and the motors are not in the wheel hubs. Those are actually just gearboxes. The motors are up inside. It has a working light bar up on top, as well as working lights for the snake eyes on the side. And listen to the sound. There's about a 3-inch speaker in there, but you can turn that sound off if you want it off. This fake Toyota pickup truck body is included just to crush it. This truck is huge. It is almost 2 feet long, and the tires are 8.5 inches in diameter. It's one of the biggest toy-grade RCs ever made. I didn't say it's the biggest, I said it's one of the biggest. I'm not sure exactly which one is the biggest. Now, if it looks a little bit weird when it turns, kind of like it's dragging some wheels and tires around when it turns, that's because it has skid steering. It steers like a tank or like a Bobcat front loader. It's a little bit awkward to get the hang of it at first, but once you do get the hang of it, it's pretty fun and it allows you to really turn on a dime. Now notice the power that this thing has. Even though it's really large and doesn't have huge motors in it, it still has really good gearing and it's pretty lightweight for its size. The body itself, the Snakebite pickup truck, monster truck body that's up on top, is actually just a very thin molded piece of plastic. And then the tires, which should be really heavy for something of this size, they're actually light too because they're made of foam. When you put all these design features together, this is a really rough and tumble truck. The difficulty of terrain that it's able to successfully negotiate is probably, I don't know, I think this may be the most capable off-road RC in the toy-grade world that I've ever tested. When you think of what kids would want out of a truck that looks like this with big tires, this is pretty much it. You want to be able to drive over just about everything, and this Snakebite truck drives over just about everything. It's almost comical, the little truck body that they give you to crush, because it's so small compared to the huge size of the truck that it's sometimes difficult to line it up. I wish they had included a couple of these, or 3 or 4, because when you do line it up, it's very satisfying being able to just crush something. And the thing just keeps popping back up for more. Have a big ugly weed in your way, just drive right through it and over it. The capabilities of this truck give you the confidence to just try things. There is one type of terrain that I don't recommend for this truck though. It's grass. Even just driving through these couple little tufts of thick grass bogged down the motors enough that you could actually hear them starting to hurt. The truck will go through and over grass, including stuff that's taller than this, but if you try to just drive on grass like a lawn for too long, the motors could overheat. Now this blew my mind. This is a pile of large granite rocks, a type of terrain that's normally a challenge even for dedicated rock crawling trucks. Well, this is no rock crawler, but it is able to get up on this pile. Now this is really pushing its limits, and it didn't do so well coming back down always, but I'm sure that if I just moved some rocks around to make it a little bit less extreme, I could have driven over this for the entire battery pack. This is just truly incredible for a toy-grade RC. Back when I was a kid, I used to always want to have an RC monster truck that could really climb over stuff. But back then, they just didn't make anything like this. Alright, for one final challenge, I'm going to do one of those do as I say, not as I do things. Yeah, you really should not drive any electric RC through water. You really shouldn't. Don't do this. At least try not to, if you can manage to hold on to enough willpower to avoid the puddles. The problem is that the Snakebite actually can do this safely. Like I said, the motors are not down by the wheels, they're way up in the center of the chassis, as is the battery. And the truck is slow enough that it doesn't create a whole lot of splashing that'll splash the water and mud up into the areas where you have electronics. But honestly though, really, don't do this. If you see a water puddle, avoid it, like the plague. Don't drive through it with your Snakebite. If you see yourself accidentally driving towards it, turn around and drive away from it. No water. Water bad. Mud bad. All bad. Truck not like water. Truck not like mud. Well, if you do find yourself unable to resist the call of water and mud, just make sure that it's not taller than the sidewall of the tires. In other words, from the ground up to the bottom of the wheel, about an inch. You absolutely do not want to submerge anything. Also know that even if you don't get anything wet on electronic pieces, still screws and things like that can rust, so it's important to dry off the whole thing. You may also want to wash your tires off if you get them in the mud before you bring them in. Fortunately, you can do that easily. Just take out one screw in each hub and the entire wheel and tire combo comes right off. You should clean your truck with a rag or towel, but the wheels and tires can be sprayed down with a garden hose. The Fastlane Snakebite is awesome. The only downside is it'll only go about 10 to 15 minutes on a battery charge, which is pretty standard for toy grades nowadays. Get some extra batteries and have a lot of fun. See you next time.